Hey Sagittarius, welcome to your April of 2019 Sidereal Astrology forecast. In this video, we're going to talk about what I feel like are the most important astrological events for your sign to become aware of and how to work with that energy in constructive and healthy ways, because there is quite a bit taking place, shifting and changing here this month astrologically. So as you can see here down at the chart, you will notice that these signs are different sizes. And this is because we are using the actual size of the constellations as seen in the sky. And this does change the signs by quite a bit from mainstream astrology. So if you do notice that some of the signs I'm mentioning are different, that's why. And a good example of this is that this month, Uranus is going into Aries. If you were to look up at the sky, you will see Uranus in Aries. But for those of you familiar with mainstream astrology, they say that Uranus is going into Taurus. So there is that difference, as you can see here, between these systems. So do check that link down below for more information on true sidereal astrology. All right, so that is the most important thing taking place here this month is Uranus going into Aries. So this is your fifth house of self-expression. So this will mean a shift when it comes to your home and personal life as well, because Uranus is finishing your fourth, which means that if over the past 10 years, for those of you who may have experienced ups and downs or changes, and maybe found a lot of freedom though, when it comes to your home life or your health sector in some way, that's all getting solidified and finalized here around this month. And this isn't going to be all this month. In fact, you may not even feel this until the later part of the month, but it is subtly sort of finalizing with that. And where Uranus is going into is into your house of self-expression. So for the next 5 years, it's going to be really good to mix up this area, find unique and different ways of expressing yourself, things that are close to your heart, your passions, your creative side, trying new things there with that, maybe even noticing spontaneous, new and different things. It's really about bringing more freedom when it comes to your passions and when it comes to your self-expression during that Uranus transit. Now, the first major stuff, or I think important stuff taking place at the beginning of this month is going to be, first of all, Pluto over the South Node for about the first 5 days. And so this is going to be releasing a lot of patterns, I think, associated with your independence. I think there's been a lot of emphasis here in terms of maybe a lot of you have been really grounding your sense of self, maybe taking on some maybe responsibilities or just feeling more grounded and more mature, more wise when it comes to your approach to things in life and really disciplining yourself to pursue your goals and stuff. And so this is great. This has been this stellium, Saturn, South Node, Pluto all in your sign. And so this month, Saturn and Pluto are going to be passing over that South Node. So there's going to be some releasing taking place with some of the structures that you've been building here with your sense of self. It's good to be non-attached this whole month. To do that, to allow for change with yourself, to allow for past patterns to be released. And up until the 5th, if there's any fears that may involve you cultivating your independence or your sense of self or anything like that, really good to, again, practice non-attachment as best as you can to who you are, non-attachment to who you are, to your identity, to what you want. And that's going to help free up a lot of that energy of really you transforming and really you empowering yourself, which is fundamentally what all this is about. Now, April 2nd, Mercury is passing over Neptune. This is going to be solidifying a lot of stuff from March, last month. And so if last month there was a lot of emphasis on more of the practical things in life and maybe reevaluating things like communication or short distance travel or information or anything like that, this is all starting to get solidified coming into the month. And this could be actually you feeling a bit receptive about these things, more accepting when it comes to things like communication or what you're learning, or more spiritual about what you're learning, something like that, more receptive with the mind and the communication. And that's all getting solidified, coming into this month here. Now, April 5th, we do have a new moon. This is going to be in that 4th house of home, health, or personal life. These are the common examples of this area. And so great to set some new intentions involving setting some roots, family, health, things of this nature during the new moon on April 5th. And it's just a great month in general to focus on these personal life things. It could be your source of energy and life force with the sun here. Now, April 10th, we have quite a bit going on astrologically. One is that Venus is going to finalize that 3rd house transit. So you may notice that there's some new values, some finalization of new values involving learning, involving communication, practical things, whatever it is. Again, more receptivity with that stuff, which is great. But also your ruler Jupiter is going to go retrograde April 10th. And this is in your 12th house. So I think it's been a great year for you to really expand your horizons when it comes to your spiritual well-being, or getting more rest or more relaxation or more receptive time or more alone time. Probably been some opportunities there to do that. And so now it's just a good time to reevaluate some of those opportunities for about the next 4 months. All right, and just reconsider this stuff. And it's always good when your ruler's retrograde just to give a bit of flexibility in your life in general to allow for reconsideration and redoing. And April 10th, the sun is going to be squaring up to Saturn. So, no, we talked about that, didn't we? Yes. Oh, no, we're talking about that now. The sun is going to be squaring up to Saturn April 10th. And so just this day around April 10th, if there is anything that you can be patient with, that it feels like maybe you're just seeing a very realistic perspective of, good to not see it too realistically, and just be patient and take it one step at a time. If you do feel any restrictions or limitations with any of this stuff, like your home, personal life, or maybe with your sense of self or anything like that. It's nothing major, but I just wanted to mention it in terms of how to work with it. Now, April 19th, we do have a full moon, and that's going to be really culminating a lot of stuff involving where you've been focused, again, with the home or family stuff or health stuff this month. And the culmination will be with that, but also, primarily with your career and productive life. Because if you look at the past 6 months, you'll see that if there has been new things, or just you've been working or building towards anything in the productive life or public life in any way, or career, this is really the high point of the cycle with that. So there can be some harvest, some culmination with these things. And then so it then becomes important to then balance the more productive public stuff with the more private personal life stuff, right? Like career and home, for example. And that full moon will certainly help you do that there. Saturn's going to be over the south node around this time, April 20th. So again, there will be some maybe releasing taking place involving that independence and whatever it is you've been working on, those structures. Again, non-attachment really helps facilitate that process. And then April 22nd is when you'll start to feel probably more of that Uranus energy. So the sun goes into your 5th, passes over Uranus. There'll likely be this, again, step in the right direction when it comes to your sense of freedom of self-expression. Maybe feeling a little spontaneous, a little free to express yourself, creative, fun, whatever it is. And yeah, that's just starting to develop that Uranus in the 5th. All right, and then April 24th, Pluto goes retrograde, followed by Saturn April 30th. So some retrogrades in your sign here, Saturn, Pluto. It's totally normal for the year here, and it's just this kind of reconsideration about what you want in life, where are your goals, who you are, your identity, all this stuff that's already been going through this releasing process. It's just good to now go back and kind of reconsider and rethink about. And it also gives a bit of a break from more of this heavier energy of Saturn and Pluto, because when they're retrograde, they're not moving forward. So the lessons are about going back and sort of implementing new lessons. So you do get a bit of a break with more of that heavier energy, which is good. But do use the time for about the next 5 to 6 months to reevaluate and rethink what it is you want, who you are, things of that nature. And I would say around April 27th, just around that day in particular, Mars is going to be squaring up to Neptune. So it's just good to have some faith and trust if there is any uncertainty about things and if it involves the work in any way. But here's the thing, is that this year, there's going to be a lot of motivation and drive, I think, with your work and routine. And I think it's a great month to really channel your energy into good health, diet, routine, maybe your work, maybe developing skills at work. You find you're very direct at work, things like this. And so, yeah, great month to put that energy and drive into that stuff. And the last thing I'll say too is, because there's all this independent energy, again, you're transforming, you're releasing, there's this new you is becoming empowered through this transformation. A really good way of balancing that is on your relationships. I think you'll find that this month, and especially the next year, it's gonna be really good to explore and try new and different things involving relationships. And all this stuff you explore and learn about relationships, you'll find is exactly what your independent life needs, what your goals need, and all that kind of stuff. All right, so Sagittarius, have a fantastic April. If you found this video helpful, be sure to click that like button and comment down below. But I wish you all the very best, and I will see you all next time for the next daily video. Take care.